Welcome everyone, and I have Maria here, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. Because you can introduce yourself better than anyone else, right?
Sure, sure. Yeah, so I'm Maria. I am a visual artist, and in my work, which kind of lives at the place after mind-based inquiry and visioning. So what I do is I lead people into the inner symbolic and subconscious spaces of vision and help them integrate what they've sensed in those spaces into their daily life. And with my artwork, I'll bring that into kind of a tangible form, an anchor, as you will, to go back to that vision whenever, when you're doing your work, so day to day, right? So come back to that knowing, that inner knowing of what your purpose is, what you're doing, and coming back to that. That's what I do.
Yeah, you said anchoring, and anchoring is this term also used in NLP. Okay,
Hmm.
and that's very important work to anchor ourselves. Um, so to make sure we're on track. Okay,
Right.
with our mission, our vision, our purpose. Okay, so
Definitely.
tell us what brought you to Substack.
Yeah, I discovered Substack probably around last year through a coaching container that I'm part of that really helped me a lot with my my work. And um, originally, I was, you know, all over social media and very scattered and doing a lot of um, different kinds of things. And I really got into Substack and I really felt that space as like very intimate and very, the attention is there because, the long form posting and people just really engage and read your posts. And it had just a bit slower feel to it, which I really enjoy like that slowing down, the more mindful living. And so I decided to really stop going to all these other, like Instagram, whatever, and focus on Substack because I think this is a just more communal and more attentive space.
Okay, so talk to us about your transition, okay? Because
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, what did I do as a transition? So starting off, I really just announced it, and then I just went cold turkey. I did originally share when I wrote a post on Substack. I shared that to the other social media, but I stopped that too because at some point, I just felt like whoever sees me on the other social media is not going to be the one that it wants to read um, a more in depth, or go to these lives that I have that are a little bit more in depth. And so I really focused on the long form, and I have to say, from a consistency perspective, from a social media content creation perspective, it was a lot easier because I was, yeah, I felt way more ease in committing to a consistent, showing up consistently. So that that's for me.
Okay, haven't you recently relocated?
Not recently. So I'm originally from Germany,
Right.
born and raised, and I moved to the U.S. actually quite a while ago in 2007.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I really worked, and maybe a little bit background on me because I've started my career more in the left brain, very analytical space, and I'm still there. on the IT side, actually. It's very technical, so completely different. And about 5 years ago, I rediscovered my creative art side, which I kind of had neglected since probably teenage years. And I really felt that was a very good expansion, that left brain, right brain connection and integration. And I also dove deeply into mindfulness and with that kind of that body connection. So, expansion and integration of getting more into the kind of like a wholeness of being than just the technical side, which is still there, and I still enjoy that. And I think it's also, I don't want to take that away because that's also part of my whole being, right? So, but yeah,
Right.
this
So,
what was my
so what would you like to share with us today?
um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we want to talk about some. Do you have some questions about, mindfulness or something? We could talk about that in our, day-to-day life of um, what, what are some of the things we're seeing in people's lives nowadays, especially in our society of this fastness and consuming. Um, that could be something. Someone's trying to
Okay.
come in.
Okay. Whatever you want to share, because I know you also have your artwork.
Yes, yes.
Um,
I can also share. Yeah, I can do that actually. I
yes,
do.
please.
I I was a little bit um worried. Because I don't really have it on my I can't share it on my phone on Substack. When I shared it to you, it was on Zoom, and that was easy to share my screen. But what I thought is I could just scoot around to the other side, and
That's
then I'm
fine.
gonna turn my camera. I have it up here on my laptop. So here, this is an example of one of the one-on-one experiences that I had with someone, and this is a inner space that I painted as a watercolor painting. Um, so this is a bigger one, and then we have this one, which I don't know how well this can be seen. There we go. This is a little bit better. So this one is actually a group visioning. So we have I've done a group visioning, which I still do, where it the focus is more on the vision and direction and the collective dreaming, right? So
Okay.
what do we feel within that group and where are we going? And then different visions or different things that come up, I depicted in one image. So this is more of a group image. Then we have this one. This is a one-on-one one again. Um, for a dear friend who is also on Substack, Josh. He's doing the sober creative, and
Interesting.
he supports people with creativity and sobriety who essentially walk the path of sobriety and reclaiming their creativity. And this is kind of his vision that came up for him and his path in a symbolic language. And then this is the end result then as his inner space depicted in art, the anchoring piece that I
What
talked about.
What is that white piece down at the bottom? It looked like a intake, the white part at the end.
The
Okay,
white
you
part
got the
at the end. Oh,
pad.
this is it's a portal. So the whole thing is
Okay.
a portal, right? You start out with a portal in the beginning that he goes through, and he saw another portal, which is for us when we were talking about it. It represents kind of the next stage, his
Mm.
next stage after his current work and his current um, expansion.
So basically, what do? You sit there and he tells you what he envisions or something, and then you draw it.
No, I can. Yeah, I can give you a little bit of the one-on-one process that I currently have. it's very personal, but I go through visioning and kind of like leading people into their inner space.
Okay.
So we really explore this very symbolic subconscious space and symbols that and things that come up for them. Um, if you're familiar with NFT, so it has something similar to that. Yes. Hey, hold on. My daughter just came in. Can you listen to her? Thanks. My daughter and dog just barged in. Ah,
Okay.
yeah. That's funny. So yeah, so where were we? Okay, so I'm going with them into their inner spaces, right?
Right.
So we really explore that with all our senses. How does it feel? What kind of message does it have? What what's going on? And then we kind of go through some interpretation, and then follows an integration process where I paint smaller focus sketches of specific elements, and we use that as an integration to come up with somatic and reflection and daily activities, something that really aligns with that particular element. And then at the end of the integration journey, we I paint this full artwork that is a representation of all of the things that were experienced in the visualization. And this is then really the anchor piece, right? This is the piece that you put in your workspace or living space or wherever you really work on your meaningful work. And that brings you back to this subconscious and um, sensed deeper knowing of of you, what you're doing in your life, what your work is for. Why are you doing this? Why is this so important? What path are you going? So it kind of helps keep you on that path, because it's an energetic anchor that is in real life, right? It's there. It's physical. It's out of your head. It's on the canvas.
I love that. So you bringing your reality to life.
Right.
Right. And so these two birds, that's not an owl. What kind of bird is that?
Well, in this particular vision, those were an eagle and a condor, which is kind of a symbolic metaphor, or there's a prophecy around it too. That has something to do with the indigenous North and South America. Um, the connecting of the two, and there's a whole story around it, which was very meaningful for the person I painted this for. So
Can you share
yeah.
that?
Um, I can share some of it. As I said, has something to do with the reconnection and reintegration and reinterconnection of the people, you know, specifically North and South America, and um, bringing them back to the land, connection to the land as well.
So basically, it's like a creation of their Eden. Okay. Garden of
Hmm.
Eden.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, finding back to that Eden, which is already here, right? You know, like
Yes.
so that the connection to our to the land, and yeah.
Yeah. When I saw this, it reminds me of something I know that Dr. Megan is working on. I know I had mentioned to you because she's talking about this, envisioning all of this, and then I thought about her with this creation, and it is
Hmm.
it's spiritual actually.
It is. It really is. Yeah, it is. Because yeah, I mean, we're spiritual beings, so of course your inner vision space is going to be spiritual for within your context, right?
Yes. So each depiction is different from each person to person because it's personalized.
It's their own inner vision.
So how long, for example, would a sitting take to complete something of this
So
magnitude?
okay, so the whole process is probably about 6 to 7 weeks. The
Oh, okay.
visioning, yeah, yes. So the visioning session itself is about an hour to 90 minutes. And then the integration journey is uh, kind of stretched out over 6 weeks, over 5 weeks. And depending on how the person wants to interact, that this can be, a meeting every week, or it could even stretch out more, or it could be a more self-driven work, where they go through reflection and prompts and meditation like that, where I can, give them the material. But mm, it's a journey that's also very personalized, the integration part. And then the last piece is the painting, which takes 1 to 2 weeks to complete. So which I don't work, on it 8 hours a day, but it's probably a 7 to, well, more like a 10 hour probably painting um, for this. Yeah.
That is great. So, have you had instances where people having trauma come to you to draw something that they may envision or
Um,
something like that?
no, I haven't, and that's also a space where I want to be very mindful and careful because I am not a therapist.
Right.
And and trauma, there's certain things that we need to, and we're not in the therapy. Well, even if you're a therapist, you have to be careful about that, but we have to
Yes.
be cognizant of that, and we have to make sure that people are safe and not spiraling, or that we're not so that's definitely very important. So that's always a discussion that has to be had up front to make sure that um, this is done in a safe and constructive manner, because we don't want to hurt or harm anyone, right? For sure.
Absolutely. Even me as a coach have to have the conversation with the client. Any issues dealing with the past is considered um, not coaching. Okay, it's therapy. And
That's
if
right.
like if coaching deals with the present and the future as far as you know your goals, okay, your desired outcome. So yeah,
Right.
you have to uh set the boundaries up front, because I can see where you're drawing something like this for someone and they could get triggered by something that they have seen. Okay, and
Hmm.
that's the reason I asked you. And if you do that, then how do you deal with that situation?
Yeah. Yeah. It just has to, we have to be very careful and upfront, and communication is just, you know, um, get that information up front that, is there something, and always checking with the state that they're in, like how you're feeling. What,
Yes.
is there anything that right now that feels like a trigger, and then we can stop immediately and um, you know, make sure that they're getting back to a um an non dysregulated state, let's say. There's like a regulated state, right? So there's obviously nervous system regulation in there too. So that, yeah, you have to make sure that that's, but a lot of the time, my work is really for people that already have done some sort of strategic or um cerebral work around this kind of, like their vision or what they're planning or what they're doing. So it's not like they're starting off zero and don't know what they're going for. So it's kind of more like adding a deeper layer to that already strategic work that they might have been doing, right?
Yes,
Um,
because
yeah,
because we know there's three ways people learn. They learn kinesthetic, they learn through auditory and visual. So so yeah, a picture worth a thousand words for sure. And
so let
very intricate. Yeah. So in this process,
sorry.
are you also doing somatic work and meditation in this
Yeah,
process?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
So how
yeah,
would you start it? Would you start it with the meditation first?
yeah. So the first part is the visualization meditation and grounding, and that inner space. That's the meditation part is the first part. And then in the integration journey, there is meditation as well. And then there comes the somatic part into it as well. And then the final painting really is that visual piece at the end, that anchor, right? So that's kind of how I would say. Now, I wanted to show you some more that's a little bit different level.
Sure.
So I also do, and this is just one example. Uh, I also do something that I call visual scribing, which is kind of depicting the essence of whatever was done. It's like if I go into like a workshop or go into like a meeting, a strategy meeting or whatever, and depict visualize the essence of what was said in art form. So that's called visual scribing. So this is more there. I'm not the facilitator. I'm more in the background, right? Like a scribe. So
Okay.
that's another level of things I do. And then I've also led a kind of like a mini version of my visioning experience. Because this visioning experience that I'm doing is like for groups, I have like the 90-minute workshops. And then for the one on one, it's like what I said, this 6 to 7 week process. But I also do live sessions frequently where I talk about people's vision and like, kind of lead them into a very small version of this inner experience. And then I do a sketch at a live sketch on the live. So this is kind of like one of them. There's kind of like a mix of the art I do, but as a sketch, right? It can't be a full artwork because I only have half an hour. And then also some scribing of some of the messages that came up and that we discussed. But that's a live session that I do. There's some examples here of what came up for people. So very, very um, kind of condensed, right?
Okay. So did you say that you give them like a prompt, and from that prompt they just draw whatever's on their heart
No,
or mind?
this is what I draw in the live set. I do live Substack lives where I
Okay.
invite
Okay.
people to talk about their vision and their purpose and their work, and
Okay.
then I lead them in a meditation of this kind of an inner space again, kind of similar to what I do in the full experience, but a very condensed version where it's like you just go in, kind of experience it briefly, and then share what came up for you, and then I do a little sketch of that, and we talk about kind of like what it means. So there's a very condensed, kind of like a teaser of the whole big experience, so people get a
That's
sense.
that's great because like if you go into a museum, for example, and you're looking at a picture, me and you and another person, we can look at it and see three different things. Okay,
Hmm.
we don't based on the environment which we came from, lived experience, so on and so forth. We can see different things, depictions, illustrations of what you've drawn.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, because yeah, of course, it is a combination of their inner world and my and me, right? Because it comes out of their mind through words into my mind and into my inner, and into my body and my knowing, and then out of me onto the page. So there's this interconnection of all of their experience and all of my experience and what words mean in general in this culture. And like this is like a accumulation of the whole environment, right? The whole ecosystem. It's not just within their in within the head. So it's yeah, of course. So it's gonna yeah, it's a different experience. But bringing it out of their head into form is really one of the big pillars. That art, that anchoring piece. This like one of the three pillars I would say that are um, that my work has. I'm gonna go back to my face
Okay.
through
All right.
things chat if that's okay. Unless you want to see one of those again a little bit more detail. But
No, it's that's personalized, and so what do you think that comes out of that after that you create this picture? What transformation are they realizing?
mhm. Yeah, so from what the things that people have said about this experience is really that it gives them a deeper understanding about what they're doing and why they're doing it. And it also gives them a way to really stay with that feeling and that knowing, and mm, maybe it's somewhat a confirmation and a confidence that, and it's also a reminder, right? So when you do your work and things get tough and you questioning things or you get overwhelmed, and then you can really go back to that and that more inner knowing that is not skewed by your head or your mind circling in some whatever spiral, so that you can go back to like, no, I know this felt right, like it's more like a felt, this is in your body knowing, right?
Anchoring, like you said.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So you said you wanted to do a meditation.
Well, if you want, that's what I do in my live sessions. Is I do um that kind of short version of the visualization meditation.
Please.
Yeah, yeah, and I can also draw something for you after. But usually I have a setup with my other camera and with my computer. I usually do my lives via Zoom. So I will have to see how I can. I might have to show you the drawing after, after I finished it.
That's fine.
But yeah, let's do a little meditation then. Let's do it.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
ready? Okay.
Yes.
So if you're ready, you can close your eyes. We're going to start out um, grounding. So we're grounding to the earth. We feel our connection, our feet or our body touching the seat, and that pull of gravity is kind of the earth holding us. This is something that's steady and that's there always. We can rely on it. The earth will always hold us, will always be there to hold us. And we just breathe. You don't have to breathe any way, certain way, just however your body tells you to. Your body knows how to breathe. We do this every day, all the time. Now just feel into your body and see if there's any spots that are tense, usually around the shoulders, maybe your hands, arms. I just want you to breathe into those spaces. And when you exhale, try and loosen it, let it go. Just kind of sink into it, just, as if you're smoothing it out, you know, just as if you're smoothing out any ruffled feathers. Tension, any tense muscles. Let them relax. There's nothing to worry about from the past or from the future. We don't need to worry about that right now. We just can be here, right now, sitting here. Nothing else to do. There's nothing else. You can just be here in this moment, in this space. And then when you've come to this space and moment, I want you to put your attention on your heart area. Heart area where we feel our love and connection and passion and heartache. All of that is good. And we want to breathe into that space. And if you want, you can imagine the energy forming into like a ball energy in that space of heart. Just breathe in warmth. Few more breaths into the heart. And we'll imagine a gentle channel of energy flow opening from the heart all the way up to the space between your brows. And the energy flowing there, connecting it back to the heart. And we can breathe into the space between our brows. Breathe the energy in. Let it be connected back to your heart. Flowing. And the energy between your brows gently creates a doorway or portal. This doorway or portal is your own and your magical entrance to this inner space of your vision, your purpose, your path, the things you're called to do, the path you're called to walk. It's inside of you, and you can experience it and you create it. So when you're ready, I want you to imagine going into that space through your portal. Let it surround you. You're in there, you're safe. This is yours. And whatever is in there doesn't have to make sense, but it is meaningful to you and does make sense to your subconscious. And let's explore that space with our senses. Let's start out with smell. In that space, what kind of smells come up? If you can smell anything, note it. If not, that's okay too. And what kind of sounds can you hear in this inner vision space? Are there any sounds? Let's think about feeling and touch. Anything about the air? Is there warmth, coolness, any motion in the air? And then let's explore the sights. What's close by? Any notable colors or shapes, objects, any people or animals, bands or structures? And what's in the distance? You see anything? And how does that feel to you? What does this place feel like? What does it make you feel? What emotions come up? And if this place had a voice, could talk to you, what's the message? And there might not be any words, just feelings or symbols. It's fine. Sometimes there are words, like a message. And maybe that message is strange or beautiful. Let's spend just a few more moments in this space, just taking it all in, making it our own, the here. This is our place. And then get ready to say goodbye, for now at least. And then just come back through the portal and into your body. Feel your body. Feel yourself. Wiggle your hands and fingers, maybe. And slowly open your eyes and be back. You're back.
Very calming. I was almost asleep.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's
Yes,
good.
it is. Thank you for that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to grab some pens. Now, you won't be able to see this until it's done, but I want you to just kind of walk me through what happened for you and what did you, how was the process? What did you see? What did you hear? Just give me some, or, some, I don't know, just walk me through it.
Well, since I'm here in Alaska, Anchorage, I see trees. I see the snow. I see a lot of things. So um, everything was peaceful, calm, and it was beautiful.
Yeah. What did you see? Like like kind of a spatial overview of how did the space look like?
I mean, it was, outside. It was a natural area. It was
Mm-hmm.
like in a forest.
Mhm.
Similar to what you showed in that picture, the second picture. So, um,
But it was snowy?
yes, it was snowing. You could hear the wind blowing, you know. Um, you could see the birds flying, okay? And it was it was cold, but it was beautiful, breathtaking.
Mhm. And
Somewhere where I would like to be.
so what did
Okay?
it feel like? Like, was it, you said it was calm. Is there anything else that you felt?
I just felt like one with nature, actually.
Mhm.
I could see a glimpse of the mountains, okay? You can see a
Mhm.
stream, you can see a stream, and you can hear the water as it's flowing. And when you hear that water flowing, it's just peace, it's just peace and serenity and not any worries at all in the world, okay? And
Mhm.
it was a sacred space, and I was alone. And as I walked the path, um, I felt a sense of calm, okay? And everything seems to be uh very clear. The path that has been chosen specifically for me, walk this way, okay? And it cut off after that. But I felt
Mhm.
as I continued to walk towards the wilderness, I started to feel more peace and whole, okay? And that everything that I had experienced was behind me, and I'm walking towards the light, okay?
Mhm.
Because I have been on this road of self destruction for a long time. And so found the path that I was supposed to be on. And now I feel um, free, really free for the first time in my life. And it's
Mhm.
okay. It's okay to leave the past behind because that is what's holding me to this despair, to this leaving the troubled life behind. I can finally find peace and love that I have been always in search for, okay? Which starts with self, okay?
Mhm.
So that in itself is really symbolic. Letting go and let God, okay? And whatever happens after that, it's only going to be good, okay? But I have to let go of the past in order to be able to fully live in the future.
Mhm. Right.
Right.
So when you're walking this path, do you feel that you are walking this path, or is this a new path? Are you already walking this path?
This is a new path because this is basically it's a rebirth, renewal. Okay? Leaving one job, leaving that career and starting over. It can be
Mhm.
the hardest thing anybody can do. Okay? Um, but I have done that. Okay? And so I embrace whatever else comes with that. and I'm forcing myself to make decisions that I hadn't dealt with before. I'm dealing with a lot of things. Instead of running
Mhm.
from them, I'm embracing them to become
Mhm.
the leader that I want to be. And to do that, we have to make sacrifices. We have to be willing to give things up. Okay.
Mhm.
There's no longer serving us in this new life. Okay. And that includes relationships. That includes really everything.
Mhm. All right. I think this is good enough. I need to stop before I add too much. I'm gonna show it
Wow.
to you. I'm gonna
Okay.
show it to you.
Okay.
Let's see if I can do this.
Wow. Okay.
We have your path. It says it's okay to leave the past,
Okay.
one with nature, walk this way in clarity, sacred space, and then we have the light and freedom right there.
Wow.
So
Okay.
your flowing water and your mountains and some birds, the free birds.
Wow. It makes a difference if you see it. Um, your vision comes to life, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I really love that. Yes, absolutely. How can I acquire that?
Well, I will send you this picture,
Okay.
and then you can share it as well. I'll just take a picture of it and send it to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So
Mm-hmm.
that is transformational to be able to see what your vision looks like. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got your vision, your purpose, your mission and all of these things. And to be able to visualize that, what it looks like, it's remarkable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Thank
I like
you.
to
Thank
see
you.
it. I like to see it in the way of bringing it into this art is like a small step of bringing it into reality.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it gives you something to look forward to. It's very inspirational, very motivational. Okay. And that's what we're doing for our clients. We taking them on a journey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a personalized, we meet the client where they are. And then from there, okay, a lot of things become possible. As long as we don't limit ourselves, okay, as long as we stay open minded to receive this information, then we can capitalize on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not, it's, my work is not like I'm not giving the teaching or the message in the way of that it's my message or my teaching. It's their own inner knowing just channeled onto a piece of paper, right? Like picking out what symbols are in there and the meaningfulness of these symbols is your own meaning. Like you make that meaning for yourself. Like a mountain or a tree means something completely different, or even the word clarity means something completely different to all kinds of different people. So what
Right.
this is your own message to yourself, right?
Yes.
And I just help people be able to hear and see it. You know?
Yeah. So when you and I talked and I saw your work, I was like, oh man, that's remarkable. We have so much talent here on Substack. I don't even have to go to any other platform to look for a collaboration because they're all right here. Okay?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything that we do, we're a gift from God, and we're passing along all of these messages, all of these gifts to other people and blessing other people as well. And that's why we are here on this earth to make a
Mhm.
difference in this
Mhm.
world. Okay? The world is hurting, and through your gifts and all of our gifts, we can make a difference in this world. We are seeing that now, okay?
Mhm.
As all of these elections are taking place and we're taking our rightful place, okay? Somebody has to pick up the baton and do the work, okay?
Mhm.
Because the world
Yeah,
is
and
in need.
it is really in need. It's in need of vision, of beautiful vision too. And there's this thing that I've explored before. I don't know if you've heard this before, but our brain or our subconscious doesn't understand no statements. Like when you say, I don't like this, I don't want this, I don't, in my future or in this country or in this world, I don't want this and I don't want this. The brain only hears the this, it doesn't hear the no. So if you're focusing on the wound, you can't get to the place behind it or beyond it. So what we really need is people imagining and working towards what they want to see, how they want people to live with each other, how they want people to interact, how they see a just and sustainable way of living, right? And this imaginary and visionary piece is so important because you cannot build and you cannot achieve anything that you have not envisioned first,
Mm,
right?
exactly, exactly. Just like I used to work for the Corps of Engineers. Before we do a project, we do a BCOE review, bidability, operability, okay? Engineering, we look at every aspect of it before we before we do the drawings, okay, and
Mhm.
specifications. So we can envision what this looks like. Okay. That's why I'll be saying, what is gonna look like, what it's gonna feel like. Okay.
Mhm.
And you have this putting this model together to show you what it's gonna actually look like, okay, before it goes up. Okay, they put this model together, especially if it's a building or something like that. You're gonna be selling units. They want to have this so people can see a prototype. What is it gonna look like? What's it gonna look like in the inside, and how is it gonna make you feel? All of the textures and everything that goes into it. You sit down and figure out, okay, I'm gonna use these faucets. I'm gonna use this brand. I'm gonna use this brand, and then boom, there it is.
Yeah, and that applies to life, you know, to everything in life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because without a plan, we know the likelihood of success is slimmer
Mhm.
when you without a plan. Okay,
Mhm. Yeah,
so
and not even just a plan. I think a plan on how to do it. It's more of a vision of what it is and how it will. Yeah, like you said, how does it gonna feel? How is it gonna? What is it gonna mean to you in your day to day life? Right.
right. Right, because we know that things change on a daily basis. Because that's why they have change orders. Okay, the customer come in. Well, I don't like that door. I want to change that. Okay, you can change it, make as many changes as you want. You're gonna pay for it. So okay, that's fine. Okay, if you don't like something, it's better to change it before you install it, because then it's gonna cost you more money to take it out. Okay, take it
Mhm.
out and then put a new one in. So we need to take all of these things in consideration when we're doing our planning. Okay, you can't account for every little change. Okay, because we're human, we're fallible. Then you come back later
Mhm.
on, it's like damn, I should have put in a blue door instead of a green door. I'm just using that as an example. So the
Mhm.
more planning you can do up front, and you can alleviate all these things because when we have a project, okay, that we're going to build,
Mhm.
it might be a 3-year study. Okay, you got to
Mhm.
test the groundwater. You got to do all these other things to make sure that you're building on a firm foundation. If you're not building on a firm foundation, no building can stand. So you have to take a lot
Mhm.
of things in consideration, a lot of tests, and
Yeah, but
looking at
yeah, you
looking
have
at
to
the
be,
data.
but you have to make sure you stay adaptable. Yeah, and that's really the thing. You know, they say, what is it? Nothing is inevitable except, or nothing is absolute except death and taxes. But really, what it is nothing is inevitable except change. Everything
True.
changes all the
Right.
time.
Yeah, exactly. So, you want to build this project today, but you got to put all these plans in place 3 years before. Okay. If you want to do this construction starting next year, things don't just pop up and happen. It's planned in advance,
Hmm. Yeah, and that's why it's
including,
important.
yeah.
And that's why it's important to have a vision that is uh, adaptable, that really gets at the what does it mean and how does it feel and how am I going to live with it versus this is exactly how it's going to look like. It's never going to look exactly how you think it's going to look. No, but it will, if you work towards a vision that is uh, feeling and like more of the how do you live, how do you feel, what's important, like value based, I think then staying on track is a lot easier.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, but baby steps because you have to be very, very careful because you can get cost overruns real quick. It'll eat your
Oh
money
yeah.
up. It'll eat your money up, especially if you don't have a plan, because every change is it's going to cost you. So you have to have a
Mhm.
plan in place, and you have to make sure you have contingencies to cover those additional costs. Okay,
Mhm.
so yeah, I love construction, and it has a lot uh principles in life as well. Okay, correlations between the two,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it's amazing. So it's a lot of things you have to take in consideration up front, so you can have smoother sailing down the road. And a lot of
Mhm.
that has to do with building these genuine relationships. It's a
Oh
difference
yes.
in that for sure. You know,
Mhm.
so this is very powerful, and I really appreciate you sharing that today. And I hope it was good for everyone else as well, because we
No, no
always have to.
problem.
I don't see anybody have any comments, but we all have to be thinking in terms of, okay, how can I achieve higher heights in 2026? Okay, maybe it's
Mhm.
doing something like this, and then that helps you to put your entire plan into place, because then you'll say, oh, these things I didn't take in consideration. Okay, and so having that visual map is wonderful.
Mhm.
Then you can modify the plan accordingly. Oh, I don't want the path on this side. I want it on this side. Okay, so yeah, that's amazing.
Mhm.
Does anybody have any questions for uh Maria? I don't see that anybody have any questions, but I really, really appreciate that. Um, it was spiritual and it was symbolic. I don't see that anybody have any questions. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of
Thank
your
you.
busy schedule. And I hope everything's going okay with the new job.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect, 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 perfect. Well, thank you again, and I wish you and your family the holidays. Um, Thank you so much, Maria. I really appreciate it. Do you have any before you go? Do you have any words or anything like that?
Mm. Yeah, well, first of all, thank you and for having me on here. And I also wish you a wonderful time at the end of this year and a good start into the new year, and everyone else too. And thank you everyone who joined. And yeah, if you want to explore something like this with me, you can contact me on Substack. And yeah, that's really my mission is supporting people in their vision and staying with their vision and connecting on the really deep level with it.
I appreciate that sincerely. And as you know, I'm a spiritual person, so it definitely landed with me. And I want to really, thank you for all of our conversations. Been very positive. Thank you for your friendship. I appreciate you being there for me. And hey, let's keep in touch.
For sure. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you so much. Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.